When the world said goodbye to Pope Francis, it wasn't just a farewell to a religious leader. It was the end of a chapter in history. For many, he was the shepherd of over 1 billion souls, the gentle voice of hope, and a leader who guided not with power, but with humility. But far away from the grand halls of the Vatican, in a quiet corner of Argentina, one woman mourned him not as a pope, but as her brother. Her name is Maria Elena Bergoglio. She is Pope Francis's younger sister, the last living member of their immediate family. And now, for the first time, she has chosen to speak. For decades, Maria Elena remained silent, while her brother Jorge Mario Bergoglio stood before massive crowds in St. Peter's Square and met presidents and kings. She stayed in her modest home in Ituzaingó, a suburb of Buenos Aires. She never sought the spotlight. She never gave interviews. She never tried to gain anything from her brother's position. She simply lived a quiet life, surrounded by memories, prayers, and love. But when Jorge, the man the world knew as Pope Francis, took his final breath, her silence ended. Her voice trembled as she spoke. "He didn't leave us riches," she said, "but he left something far more valuable." With those words, people around the world paused, because this wasn't a story about hidden wealth or treasures buried beneath the Vatican. This was a story about love, about handwritten letters carefully folded and tucked away in drawers, about small acts of kindness that were never captured on camera, about sacrifices made in silence, about a brother who gave himself to the world, and in doing so, quietly disappeared from the lives of those who loved him first. Long before the name Jorge Mario Bergoglio echoed through cathedrals, before he stepped onto that balcony in 2013 to become Pope Francis, he was just a boy growing up in Buenos Aires. In a small, simple home, he laughed with his siblings, played soccer in the streets, and walked to school hand in hand with Maria Elena. Their childhood was filled with joy and struggle. Their father worked as a railway accountant, and their mother stayed home to care for the children. They didn't have much, but they had each other. When their older brother Alberto passed away, Jorge stepped up as the eldest son. He didn't complain. He didn't hesitate. He took on extra jobs, he helped raise his siblings, he became the rock of the family. Maria Elena remembered how he read her bedtime stories and taught her how to pray when she was scared of the dark. He wasn't famous. He wasn't holy in the way people now describe him. He was just her big brother, protective, kind, and always there. As Jorge grew older and followed his calling into the church, Maria Elena stayed behind. She didn't try to follow the spotlight. Instead, she stayed in the background praying for him, watching from a distance as he became a Jesuit, then a bishop, then a cardinal, and eventually, the Pope. She watched the world celebrate him, and still, she kept her silence. She didn't want him to worry. She wanted him to focus on his mission, but love doesn't go away just because it is quiet. Even when they were apart, her heart stayed close to him. She was proud of what he had become, but she missed him. The boy who used to hide chocolate under her pillow, who used to say, "Don't tell Mama," after sneaking out to play. And when she saw him step onto the papal balcony, waving to a sea of faithful people, she didn't cheer. She sat in her kitchen holding back tears, remembering the brother who once walked her to church on Sundays. When Jorge became Pope, everything changed. Their family life, once quiet and private, was open to the world. Strangers came to their doorstep, reporters asked questions, journalists searched for stories. But Maria Elena still stayed silent, not out of fear but out of love. "He doesn't belong to just us anymore," her mother once told her. "He belongs to God." Still, behind the scenes, they carried their quiet pain. They saved every photo, every card, every mention in the news. And when he passed, Maria opened a drawer she had not touched in years. Inside were dozens of handwritten letters. Letters full of love, blessings, and memories. "It was like he was still sitting next to me," she said. "He never forgot us." People talk a lot about what Pope Francis gave the world. His teachings, his simplicity, his leadership. But what many forget is what his family gave up. They lost time with him. They lost birthdays, holidays, quiet conversations. They watched from afar as the world celebrated him, And while they were proud, they also mourned the everyday moments that were stolen by his duty.
Yeah.